I will tell you, a DUI,
Okay.
I thought would have stopped me, and it didn't.
Okay.
So after the DUI, I still drank, but I was still, like drinking and driving, if you will.
Yeah.
But then eventually I was drinking some days I was getting up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, 7 a.m. on a Sunday. That's when I knew that I was in trouble.
Yeah. Welcome to Just Today, where our platform is a reminder that recovery isn't a solitary journey. It's a community of connections where our guests share their stories and the power of recovery. Just for today. Now to your host, Mike Jody. So welcome back to Just Today. It's been a little while since we've been in the studio, and I'm really excited about getting back and having some conversations. With me, I have Jody, who's going to share a little bit about her struggles and her recovery. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you, and I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this conversation that we're about to have.
Yeah.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
really, really excited that you agreed to jump on.
Absolutely.
So tell me this, Jody, a little bit about your story. Tell me, your background, where you grew up. It helps the audience trying to frame things out.
To be honest, I had quite an exceptional upbringing, to be honest. My parents, two very good people. Yeah. My they raised us very well. My father was a professional athlete, so that kind of gave us some advantages to certain things. I never wanted for anything, went to a great high school. Mm-hmm. I can't really say too many bad things about growing up.
Okay.
I really can't.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you, tell me a little bit more about, when did you pick up? When did you, start moving down a road of
most
drinking?
people would say high school. Everybody dabbles in high school. I wasn't really a drinker, if you will, when I was in high school. Okay. So I would say maybe college.
Okay.
I was probably 19, maybe 20.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Westchester University.
Me too.
It was, I met my boyfriend in college, and he was part of a fraternity, and they were drinkers. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where it began, you know. Yeah. And then, it just became a part of my weekly life. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. Right. Pretty much drunk from Thursday evening until, sometimes it would be until Monday morning. Right. But, that's...
What'd you drink? What was your drinking? Anything and everything I drank.
Mostly beer in the beginning. Mostly beer, it started out. But I found that as I gotten older, it progressed to, of course, wine, because that became the ladies' drink. Sure. And then eventually the wine just didn't do it for me anymore. And vodka, Tito's to be specific. He became my boyfriend for probably a good 2 years. Okay. That vodka was really my main alcohol.
Well, we have that in common.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with vodka, or at least the thing that I tricked myself into, is that people couldn't tell that I was drinking, because the vodka didn't really give as bad of an odor, if you will. Yeah. What did I know?
Yeah.
Nobody ever said anything.
Right.
At least not out loud.
Yeah. It's the whole thing of that smell, and people always knew.
Yeah. You know what? Nobody ever said anything. Nobody ever looked at me funny. So what did I know? Right.
Was your story? Was primary alcohol was your drug of choice? Did you do any other substances?
I would say maybe so later, when I was 30, as a matter of fact, 32 to be exact, because that was my very first encounter or experience with rehab.
Okay.
My daughter's father and I were together. I had her, and it just wasn't a very good situation.
Okay.
And I just found I started taking different pills, up, down. I was doing coke. I was drinking anything that I could find that would kind of make me find a feeling somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience with rehab. I can honestly say it was a joke. I went to Miramont for my first visit, I'll say. And it was 28 days. I had no insurance, and I was on state assistance.
Yeah.
And, they're just like, oh, she's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I stayed clean because I went back to smoking marijuana.
Okay.
Because that was the one thing that helped with like the mental health part of it.
Okay.
It kept me from feeling the depression part.
Okay.
And I was on depression meds for probably from the time I was 16, 17. And that in itself, there's something that comes with that.
Sure.
But I found that eventually the situation that I was in, it just kind of threw me right back into my addiction.
So when you went to Miramont, you were 32. I went there for a little while. I went there for like a little skit.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Right. I've been everywhere. Yeah. And so you're 32. You come out. You're sober, right?
Yes.
And then you start. But the marijuana was something that you just kind of gravitated to help with some of the mental struggles that you had.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then take us from there. Was there? And let me just back up a little bit on that. When you went to rehab, when you were 32, what was the precipice? What you were just things were really getting out of control with your relationships with?
It was my daughter's father. He was actually not a very nice person.
Okay.
And he was, granted, I was out of control, but that was his way of trying to gain custody of my daughter.
Okay.
By saying, throwing up these red flags. Meanwhile, he was part of my problem, if you will. Easy access.
Right. Okay.
That was the main reason why I went into rehab, because he threw a red flag at everybody.
Okay.
Trying to do something to hurt me.
Right. And you were reluctant to go, or you were like, oh,
no, I went. I went because that was my child. Like I had a responsibility to her to, get myself, at least get my head straight so that I could function, so that I could focus on, what was happening in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I said, her dad wasn't a great person. I love him to death because he gave me the most amazing thing in my life. But he definitely contributed to a lot of chaos that occurred.
Okay. Yeah. So you then, then you get out and you're kind of like 30, you're 32. How long do you kind of move into that?
7 years.
7 years?
7 years.
Managing it.
Just
okay.
being able to manage it with, once again, I was smoking marijuana and mental health medications.
Sure. Yeah.
And let's see, my daughter was 2 years old. And I became a single mom when she was 5. And, so then I started drinking again.
Okay.
And then it was just, it was like, a couple glasses of wine. That was my, the end of the night when my daughter wasn't with me, then it became a daily thing. Oh, I'm just going to have a glass of wine. As time went on, then I became a single mom all the time. when she was 12.
Okay.
And it was just there. The wine was just there. It helped me cope with all of the chaos that was coming from being by myself, not having support, always having to
Do everything yourself.
fighting with her father on, the help that I needed. Not necessarily that I couldn't get it, but it was the lack of communication.
Okay.
So for me, again, the wine was my way of
Escaping.
let me take it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then when as she got older, it just progressively got worse. I saw loneliness coming because college was looming.
Yeah.
And more than anything, it was mental health. I was not mentally stable. Did I want to go to therapy? No. I didn't have health insurance, so I couldn't afford it. And wine and then eventually vodka were what
Took
me there.
Right. Okay.
That's what helped, kept me, I got up, I went to work, I came home, I got drunk, I went to sleep, I'd say just.
Yeah, the same patterns, right? The insanity of that, right? Over and over and over again. So where did that eventually lead to you? Tell me a little bit about the darker days where those consequences of some of those actions that we take. Maybe share a little bit about that.
I will tell you, a DUI,
Okay.
I thought would have stopped me, and it didn't.
Okay.
So after the DUI, I still drank, but I was still, like drinking and driving, if you will.
Yeah.
But then eventually I was drinking some days I was getting up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, 7 a.m. on a Sunday. That's when I knew that I was in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I would get up and I would drink from 7 a.m. until it was time to go to bed with no issues.
Yeah.
Anywhere I went, oh, here she comes with her. I was the roadie queen.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't. I'll tell you what did it for me was I forgot that I had to meet my mom and my dad and my daughter for dinner. And I was like, girl, it's time for you to get your shit together. It's something, and it's something that simple, and it took me that long till she was 17, 18, but that's what did it. And my daughter called me and she said, Mom, where are you? Like, what do you mean? Well, you're supposed to be at dinner. You want to know what's even more ironic? I didn't even have a drink sitting in front of me when that happened. I hadn't even had a drink. I just forgot.
Yeah.
And when I sat down at dinner with them and I said, I'm going to rehab. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. And I looked at my daughter's face. And the amount of relief that I saw when I said that is when I knew that it was time for me to get my act together for good.
Yeah.
I was in hell at that moment.
Yeah.
And I was gone within maybe 8 days, 8 days. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. So when it is that surrender, right? That time where we just say, all right, I can't do this by myself any longer.
I
Right?
don't want to feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like this anymore. I don't want to wake up with a black eye or a fat lip or a busted rib and not know why. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And within a week, had a place picked out. I knew, not knowing that my family actually was planning an intervention.
Right.
When I sat down to dinner with them, they were planning to do an intervention, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But when I went home, I said, I'm ready.
Well, yeah. Yeah. We all get to that point. We're like, all right, uncle. Right?
I did, and I told I said because it's like, you hate to say because of your job, but you only get that's my livelihood, and I didn't, I was grateful that they even gave me the time that they did, because they didn't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, but they don't. Especially in Delaware, isn't at will, so
Yeah.
they didn't have to hold my job for me.
Right.
But I made a commitment to myself to 60 days of treatment. I ended up staying 68.
Where'd you go?
I went to Hope by the Sea in
Okay.
San Juan Capistrano, California.
Oh, okay.
It was an amazing experience. I really, I can tell you that I don't remember getting to the airport in California.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
But I do remember the day that I finally felt less chaos. Where I felt like I finally, I just finally could just rest my soul. And from that point till now, I can tell you, yes, it's been a struggle, but man, I wouldn't change it for the world. I appreciate the struggle. I appreciate, it keeps me honest.
Yeah.
It helps me to create consistency
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah. When you were, some of the things when I talk to people that in recovery, there's a lot of similarities in some of the things that I hear, right? And one of the things I struggled with was comparison in my life, and feeling a little bit out of place and not fitting in, and all those little cliches that we do here. But there is a similarity, and I think even like the sensitivity is probably something that I still get that. I'm like, oh, you're very sensitive. I think it's the cool thing about that is the power once you get recovered, and that the community, it's the sensitivity to help the next person, right?
I 100% agree.
Did
I
you-
100% agree with that. And
Yeah.
and I can tell you, being the middle child
Yeah.
growing up was very difficult for me. And,
Okay.
and thinking about the word comparison.
Yeah.
Because I've always been one to compare myself. I had two siblings who were very different from myself. I would say that I was that unique child in the middle. But both of my sisters were very, I would say, high achieving, intellectually. All three of us were very athletically inclined. I just happened to be the one in the middle that was not necessarily the academically inclined.
Okay.
So there really was, and it was more of me comparing myself to my sisters. Because, and only just my own insecurities, but I do believe that carried forward in my life. I do find that I was always comparing myself to others, not necessarily realizing that I had my own uniqueness. And getting sober allowed me to step into that power of my uniqueness.
Yeah.
Realizing that I don't have to be like everybody else.
And you don't have to run from it.
And I don't have to run
You don't have to run from it.
And I got to be honest, some people don't like me. And that's okay.
I get
Because I'm a straight shooter.
Right.
I no longer hide behind worrying whether or not I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. Because guess what? People don't worry about whether they hurt yours.
So tell me a little bit about how do you stay in recovery today? Like, what is your support group? How do you support yourself in that?
I remain grateful
Okay.
every day. I don't go to AA. I don't really use support groups.
Okay.
But I do remind myself daily to be humble.
Okay.
I remind myself that, how easy it could be for chaos to re-enter my life.
Yeah.
I'm not a quitter. And I don't ever want to feel that way. I don't want to live that way ever again.
Right.
So, I don't, to be honest with you, like some people say, oh, if I could just have a glass of wine. I don't even want it.
Yeah.
Because it leads to nothing nothing but chaos.
Yeah.
It leads to nothing but feeling like crap,
Yeah.
bad health.
Yeah.
Listen, I am in the best health of my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I get up every day. I don't have to worry about, a banging headache.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I eat healthy.
You can participate.
I can do things. Yes, I can talk. I missed so many events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So many events.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we're having this conversation because I just said I have a group of girlfriends from Westchester, and I said to them, ladies, send me pictures because I want to put something together for us all. And I said, send me pictures of different events that we've been to, pictures of all of us. And there were some pictures that came in and different homecoming events that I didn't attend. Why didn't I attend? Because I couldn't get out of my own way to get to the event. I didn't want to be in a crowd. Too much. It was too much. And so it's like reflecting back on those events that I've missed over the years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to miss anything else.
Yeah. I know that's a cool thing about being in recovery and being in sobriety is that, that you're there, you're present, right?
That's the
there
biggest
was like
thing.
years that I missed, right? Like I was like, and then even and many times when I was at these events, I don't really remember them.
That's me too.
And sometimes it's not just because of our drinking; it's because of their thinking because we're thinking of other things in our lives that we're never really present. And I truly believe that even though you put down a drink, it's that craziness of our minds at times.
There's
right? It's
definitely chaos that remains.
That's chaos. That's exactly right. That remains.
It
right?
does remain. And I mean, because here's the thing. Even though, like we're managing our own selves, we're in an environment with other people who have to manage themselves. I found for myself navigating family functions,
Okay.
sometimes can be tricky.
Yeah.
When I was drinking, it wasn't tricky. But with a sober mind,
well, I think there is, and I certainly understand that there's times that I'm with my family that will, I wouldn't say trigger, but it brings me back to a different time, and I have to be very careful of that, And it's like that's your family, you're like, but there are times when it's. I wouldn't say pressure, but you just you feel a little bit out of a place, which is weird, even in your own family.
It does. It does, and it's.
I don't know what that is, expectations or your own stuff that you're bringing back, but I certainly,
Well, they're all very. I can say that they're all very. I told them from the beginning. Listen, you guys can't tiptoe around me. I'm the boss of myself.
Right.
So you know, like as far as other people drinking around me, when, you know, when I first got into sobriety, I just didn't, you know, I don't put myself in the situation. You know, I
Yeah.
don't want to, you know, but my family, they're, you know, they would be like, well, you know, we don't want to drink. Hey, listen, have at it. Because listen, if I'm going to relapse, that's on me. Like, you guys
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's not. It's for me. It's not the drinking part of that. It's just. It's just. It's. I sometimes it's especially the first times you're getting together, and that's what you did for the majority of your every time you got with your family you drank. I mean, my family
I
is
paid more attention.
Yeah,
I
you
think.
just pay more.
I
I
pay,
mean,
well, I'll say, I
yeah.
can say that
There,
I started to pay more attention.
yeah. Yeah, and the thing about it is your family loves you, they will support you, and they're like, this is just going to bother you. But you get to the point where like, no, that's not my thing. Like
Can I be honest with you?
that's not my triggers. That's not my, you know what I mean? I appreciate that, but I have to be able to manage that, right?
And then, so then, like I had to, you know, you identify triggers, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, there were triggers sitting at that table. So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's where I'll say it this way. It's where a lot of trigger came from. For me, anyway.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's an emotional thing. I think what now today, where I think some of the things that we do hear a lot about triggers, right? But we trigger ourselves. Like when you get to that point where you're like, you take responsibility of it. You're the one that's going to make that action. They're not triggering it. You're triggering yourself.
They used to.
And right. When you get to that point in your sobriety and recovery and all these other things, you start to be able to really be
Boundaries
and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're like, okay, the triggers were in here,
Yeah.
not out there so much.
It's nice. It's nice now. Now that I'm 8 years in, I can honestly say that they don't trigger me anymore.
Yeah,
Because I've been able to,
it's a process.
able to, well, yeah, I'll say. Listen, sometimes I just, so there's times when I'm just, want to reach across the table, but,
Yeah, I get it. I understand. So you said something about your friends, and I'm sure that they must be very supportive of all you do. So that
Absolutely.
you did find your tribe, right, in your friendships, and they help you through that whole process. And
oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, these are my people. Like these are
Right.
people that have been in my life for 30 plus years.
Right.
A majority of the women
Right.
in my life.
Yeah.
And they always have always been very supportive. They still, to this day, I get the happy soberversary.
That's good.
They say, they watch me and, they gain strength
Yeah.
from, seeing how much I've grown and,
Yeah,
right. I definitely, it makes me feel good, but it also makes me know that I've grown as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause-
It's almost like some of the things like your own internal amends, right? Like because you're not just saying sorry, I screwed up. It's like you're living this thing, and after a while, people start to really take notice and say, "Wow, man, this person's has really is changed." And,
Right,
or
exactly.
it's not so all the change all the time. It's about letting go of the person you're not too.
Well,
right, and that's a big thing.
That.
When you really start to get into recovery, letting all that stuff go and being comfortable.
It is, and I was very, very uncomfortable in my skin
Yeah.
for a long time.
So
Now I'm very comfortable. I get
So,
no issues.
so one of the things that we always talk about is mind, body, and soul, right? Like a little bit about that. Like, I think you kind of touched on some of those things. The mind piece of it, right, is determining, why did we kind of want to continue to escape out of our life? Because I think that's addiction is you're trying to escape something.
Exactly.
Right? And once you start to identify that with your past, environmental, trauma, predisposition, all this stuff, right? Once you start to do that, you really can start changing those behaviors around it.
Right.
But you mentioned something to me is about working out. Like working out is a huge thing for me today because I really get that release from it. I feel good after that, right? It's not like,
It allow, like, you can go in there mentally torn up
Yeah.
and leave out of there with the chaos gone.
yeah, yeah.
You really can. I mean, it like yesterday, for instance, I was home, my daughter had my car, and I was like, I was having one of those days where I'm just like, oh, I'm just not feeling great. It's cold outside.
It's winter.
And I'm like, and I said, you know what? I went there, we have a gym. It's not great, but I grabbed, some 10s, 15s, and 20s, and I hit it for an hour and a half.
Right, yeah.
And when I went back upstairs, I was like a new person.
Yeah.
And it's just, I put the headphones on, and I just, even when I get to the gym, I go in there with a purpose. Don't talk, like, I don't want to be bothered,
I'm the same way.
I just want to get my workout in and go home.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
And when I get home, it's like I feel good.
Yeah.
I eat my good meal.
Yeah.
And then I sleep like a baby.
Right. It's good nutrition, right? Yeah, that's the part of the body.
Yeah,
piece.
it
It's
is.
so
Like my
same
health
thing is,
system.
yeah.
When my doctor told the last physical I had, she was like,
Doing
I'm
well.
impressed. I mean, but she said not bad for 57. I'm like, listen, like you can't not pay attention to your body.
Right. Yeah, it's a big part of recovery.
And I just actually started back doing yoga as well, which
Nice.
is definitely a huge, like, mind, body, soul thing. I mean, that is huge.
Right.
It really allows me to just kind of, and I'm learning to get back into it because I got away from it for a while. But it definitely allows you to kind of, just allows you to relax your mind and allows you to kind of.
Quiet your soul.
Quiet everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I got to be honest. I think I almost fell asleep at the last part of it. Like when she started to say come, and I was like I really was like, whoa, like where was I in that minute? But it's
yeah. It's,
there's a lot
the
to be said
meditation
for it.
side of it. It's very,
It's huge. It really
meditation,
is.
prayer, body. Yeah, all those things are very important to balance your life out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. Great stuff. So, kind of the last question I have for you. I always ask this to a guest. What would you say to somebody who's on the balance beam right now, who is struggling with an addiction? What would you say to that person, and to find them a different place in their lives?
Have you had enough chaos?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Is my question. Have you had enough chaos yet?
Yeah.
I actually recently had an experience with a friend, and she went ahead and took the steps to go ahead and enter recovery again. And it was just my question to her was, and this was just this situation was, you're making every excuse in the book except for the excuse to save your own life.
Yeah. Clicked, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a daily struggle, but she and I'm right there with her. And all I can do is just hope and pray that, it continues to work well for her. And I told her, listen, whatever happens, happens. You need to talk to me, you call me any time of day, what have you.
Yeah.
But I'm here. Listen, I walk this walk.
Yeah.
I don't just talk. I walk.
Right. Yeah. No, and I think that's super important because like you mentioned earlier, it's not a quick thing, right? You don't go to rehab and get 28, 30 days, right, and come out and thinking everything's going to be okay. It takes a lot of work. You're still the same damn version of yourself, right? I say that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. You really got to get underneath it and and walk that.
You
right?
do.
And which take your story is very similar to my story, right? Go rehab, get sober, mess things up, then there's a process to that, you know.
there
And
is.
I always stuck to, you know, and I try to tell somebody that's starting this journey that you got to give yourself a little break too. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got to let yourself. Everything is not going to get better just because you got sober.
Well, yes.
Right.
That's not. It doesn't just go.
Work. It
boom.
doesn't work that way.
No.
It's a whole journey for
I
that.
tell you, I carry with me on a daily basis. This is I call this my sobriety arm on
Okay.
my. But the one thing that I remember to myself is progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And I tattooed that on myself to remind myself that each day there's always gonna be something different, a different struggle.
Yeah.
But you just gotta keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And your life is never gonna be perfect. Never.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate you coming in. I think
I
also,
appreciate you having me on.
was really
I really
cool.
do.
Really
It's
cool.
been a wonderful experience. I thank you.
Yeah. Well, really, really nice to see you again.
You as well.
Thank you again for joining our podcast. If you're interested and if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Or you could connect with us through our website called just-today.org, or you could simply buy us a cup of coffee and learn more about our story. Thanks so much.